You are silly. Hey, Colab Coach here yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. As I said last week, um, well, if you're just not joining me, hello. And I'm here with my friend Jashay. You know, we've been friends for a long, long time, and basically we are just going to be talking about different topics about different relationships, different situations that people are currently going through in situations where people have overcome obstacles and things like that. So just so you know who I am, I'm a collab coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate relationships with your friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship of all, with yourself. So today we're gonna talk about forgiving people in relationships. And my friend Jashay was so happy enough to sit down with me, and we could talk about what exactly happened in her life and relationships that she's had that she had to forgive someone, or she's working on forgiving someone. So I'm gonna let Jashay go ahead and just tell her story a little bit.
So like I said, I'm Jashay. I've known David since middle school back in the day. But basically what happened, I was in a relationship for almost a year. Talked about marriage and all that. We got engaged. And maybe 2 months later, he called it off. I mean, the relationship, the engagement, all of it. For basically, he left me for his ex-girlfriend. And that was very devastating. It was hurtful. It really took a toll on me. And so what I did was I kind of sought after, my belief, my faith. I kind of started doing, just working on me, just working on stuff that I had issues with, just basically self-love in that time, and just kept them in prayer. And, we stayed, friends. Even though it hurt, I stayed friends, but I learned to forgive him, and I never treated him any differently. And so maybe a couple months, maybe not even a month after that, I was involved in a very bad car accident, which I almost lost my life. And so that kind of hit some things home about, hey, don't hold on to grudges, life's too short. So long story short, that relationship didn't work out. Maybe a month later, he came back, he apologized, he asked me for forgiveness, and I did. And we stayed friends, and then we're slowly built, things back up, and now we're back engaged again, and things have been better this time because of forgiveness. And it's not perfect, I still have hurt, and there's still times where I question him, and he knows that, but we do take the time to forgive. So I am working on forgiving him, and I don't hold things against him. So
That's an awesome story, and it goes to show what kind of person you are to have that forgiveness within you. So my question to you would be, how did you get that strength? How did you get that feeling to have forgiveness for this person that did hurt you and did cause you a lot of pain? And if it was anyone else, they would have just left that person and never came back. So where do you feel like you got that feeling to forgive them in the first place?
Basically from the examples I had in my life. I come from a 2-parent household. My parents have been married 30 years. And so I've observed their relationship and kind of tried to pattern my own after them in a way. And I know that talking to them, and a lot of couples that have been married for 30 plus years or a long time have said that the communication and forgiveness, have a lot of forgiveness when it comes to relationships, especially in marriage, because you're two different people from two different upbringings, and there might be times where you may hurt that person, maybe intentionally or not, and you have to learn to forgive because you're learning to grow as one and grow together. And by holding on to hurt and unforgiveness can cause big issues and can break up a marriage. So I had to learn to, hey, forgive. He's not perfect. No, by no means, nor am I. So basically, if I want people to forgive me, I have to learn to forgive them as well.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. So, as far as the relationship that you wanted back then and the relationship that you have now, what do you feel like are the differences, or is there any difference?
The difference is I learned to kind of let go and give him his space. Not to be so up under him and, do it my way all the time, but I learned to compromise. And I learned to, that's okay to spend some time with just me. I'm still doing self-love. That never changed. Even though I'm engaged, I still take time to work on self, because self is the most important thing. You can't love somebody else if you don't love who you are. And so coming from a place where a person who just didn't love themselves at one point, I'm learning to, hey, love me for me, and in turn that love will spill over into loving him, and he will see that if I respect me, then he will respect me as well. So that's the difference, and that the communication's gotten better. I've learned to speak. If there's something bothers me, I speak up. I'm not mean or harsh about it, but I let him know, hey, that bothers me, so we need to work on that. And he's learned that he can come and talk to me, that, hey, I won't judge you, I won't hold nothing against you, we can just talk as one. It's worked out so far.
Awesome. That's powerful. And as you said, something really powerful. You said that self-love is key, because if you don't love yourself, how can you even imagine to love someone else? So my question to you, I think maybe my one last question I'll say is, what advice can you give to someone that is going through a similar situation just like you, or someone that's going through a situation where they want to forgive someone, but they feel like it's hard or it's difficult or it's something that, they've been battling with? So what advice would you give to that person?
I would say pray about it. If you are a spiritual person or have a relationship, I would say pray, because God will give you the spirit of discernment to discern whether or not that person is true in their intentions or not. You should always forgive, because the Bible tells us to forgive those, because God forgives us every day. So we can't hold people's things against them, because God doesn't hold our sins against us.
Right.
So religious background, learn to forgive. That's a big thing. And if you're struggling with forgiveness, then I would say, find positive ways to cope with it. Exercise, talk to that person, or just tell that person, hey, have an adult conversation and talk about it and tell them how you feel, and don't hold anything back. But at the same time, once the conversation is over, leave that in the past. Let it go. I ain't gonna say you forget it, because you don't forget, but forgive and move on. And just because you forgive somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take them back. My situation is totally different, but just weigh the spirit by the spirit. Weigh the options, the pros and the cons. You can forgive somebody and still love them, but not entertain them, if that makes sense. So just use your best judgment, pray about it, and just communicate. That's all I can say.
Awesome. Hey, I couldn't say it better myself. So, as you know, or if you don't know, I am the Collab Coach. I'm here with Jashay, and she was happy enough and gracious enough to join me. What I like to do every week, do a Facebook Live, and we just talk about different topics about relationships, different situations that we are currently going through, and different situations that you have overcome, and things you could share with people to learn. So join me every week. We're gonna have different topics, different people, different. We might have Jashay back maybe one time again. You never know. But just talk about different things about relationships. And if you don't know who I am the Collab Coach. I focus on relationships, but not only intimate relationships, relationships with your friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, and the most important relationship involved with yourself. Follow me on Instagram at Colabcoaching, and follow me on Facebook so you can join me every week as we talk about different things as I go live. Facebook Colab Coaching, COLAB Coaching, and as simple as that. So until then, you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time. Thank you.